Okay, today we're going to go over a critical component of everybody's trading, which is the drawdown. And we're going to show how under the trade management system at process trading at the right edge trading system, how that drawdown is managed. So we're just going to look at the trades for today, April 12th. And as you can see here, here is the range, the PT range indications, 3, 3, 3. And let's back up a little bit here, and I'll explain how they're used. Here's 3, and here is 3 3/4. So looking at the trade management system and how we use these numbers for our drawdown and everything, we know that the process trading right edge system is divided into two critical components. One, the long-term trend here, the PT VWAP line with its different colors that tell us, along with the associated timing alerts, these blue dots, when we can take a trade, and more on that in a minute. And then on the discretionary trading part, down here is the 3 indicators, which is the internal energy, the sentiment oscillator, and then finally down here, the short-term trend oscillator. These are all for buying strength and selling weakness. But today, I'm just going to talk about the trend trading part of the system, which is, again, the VWAP system along with the timing alerts. And we're going to see the effectiveness of combining the trade management entry as well as the trade management drawdown system within the right edge trading system itself. So the first thing to note on the PT VWAP system is when the PT VWAP line is yellow and there is a green indication, that means that we can take a long trade at any timing alert dot that is below the price bars. And the way that we do that is at the specific price bar where the timing alert dot shows up, we take the high of that bar and we put our entry 2 points away from the high of the bar with the target set at 1 point. So let's look at this. The high of this bar where the timing alert dot is 59.25. So we would set our entry order at 61.25. So here, right in somewhere in here, we would have got filled because the high here is 62 and we would have got filled at 61.25. And then we have our price set at 1 point, so we got to get to 62.25, and here we're up to 64.50. So we would have got filled almost immediately. So that talks about how we use the VWAP system along with the timing alerts and how we calculate our order entry price. But now we want to talk about how do we set our drawdown. Well, the drawdown, you look to the range, the PT range indicators, and you add half a point to it. So in this case, the last one was 3.75. So we would set a drawdown of 4.5 points for this. Now, when we put our order in here and we got filled at 61.25, we would have had a stop limit of 4 points or 4.5 points below that. So it would have been our drawdown stop limit would have been somewhere around 56.75. And as we see, we didn't come anywhere close to that. So we're going to just keep taking trades throughout this whole day and until we see how this system works. So over here, again, we have a yellow VWAP. We have a green indication prior to it. So we can take this timing alert dot. We look to see what the high of that bar was. The high of that bar was 67.25. So we'll place our order entry at 69.25. And over here is 70.25. So we would have got filled at 69.25, and we have to get up to 71.25 right there to make our point. So we would have done that. And now we want to talk about how our drawdown would work for this. So we go back to the last indicator that we see for the PT range, which is 3. So we're going to add half a point to that, which makes our drawdown at 3.5 points, which would have made our drawdown about 65.75, somewhere in that area. But again, we got filled and we made our point. So let's go to the next example. Okay, so the PT VWAP is yellow. We had a green indication here. We look to the last PT range indicator. We know our drawdown is going to be 3.5 points. This is a timing alert dot, which says that now we can take a trade to the upside. The way that we do that, we look to see what the high was, which was 68. So we place our order entry at 70, and we see we never would have got filled on this trade. The same thing occurred here with this timing alert dot. Using our trade management system, we never would have got filled on this trade, which the high was 67 and it never got up to 69. And it is that specific type of trade management that allows us some margin of safety and lets us manage the risk. Now we see another timing alert dot here. So let's see what this trade would look like. Our high here was 63.75, so we would have got in at 65.75, somewhere right around here, 65.75, and we would have had to, for 1 point, get up to 66.75. Okay, and we only made it up to 66.50. So let's see what our drawdown effect would have been. Again, here's our previous PT range indication. So we would have added half a point to that, which would have made it 3.5 points. We looked for the high of this bar, which was 63.75, and we would have entered at 65.75. So our 3.5 points here for our drawdown would take us to 62.75. And as we look here, we see it got down to it would have taken us to 62.25. And we see here it got down to 62.50, 62.50. The lowest it ever got was 62.50, which is a quarter point above our drawdown. And then it went up again. So this trade, with the trade management entering 2 points above with a 3.5 point drawdown, then would have been successful because we would have got our point over in this area here. So far during the day, we've taken this trade. We wouldn't have got in there. We've taken this trade. So we've taken 3 trades for a point and been successful on each one. So let's continue and look at our trades. The next trade, because of the yellow line, now we could get in at this yellow point here. Obviously, that's going to be successful. Then how about this timing alert here, this PT timing alert here, and this trade here? Would that be successful? Well, let's look, and we see the high is 59.50, and we never made it up to 61.50, so this would have never our entry point would have never been executed. But down here, we have another timing alert dot, and we can take that trade again. So let's see what the high of that is. The high of that is 64.25, so we would go in 2 points above, which is 66.25. And let's see where that is. 66. So in this bar here, that's where we would have got filled. So let's see how our drawdown and the drawdown part of the trade management system for the right edge system works. Again, we go back to see what it was our last range indicator. It was 3, so we're going to set it at 3.5 points. We went in here at 66.25. So our drawdown is going to be 62.75. So let's see, we're trying to get in at a 66.25. We said that would be over here because we went to 66.50. And what was our drawdown here? How low did we get here? We got down to 63, but we would have had to get down to 62.75. So again, our drawdown worked on this, and then obviously the trade went up for a point, which is we could have taken. Then we were also allowed to take this trade, which would have been our 5th trade, and obviously that would have been successful. So let's continue on and see how the next trade worked. The next trade we would have made would be this trade, which is the high here, and it didn't go 2 points above, so we never would have got in that trade. The next trade allowed, because of the timing alert dots in the system, we would have got in 2 points above this, and we never would have got filled because of our trade management. The same here. Then the next point we're allowed to take is right here. And let's see where that is. That is, the high of that is 59.25. So 61.25 is where we would set our order entry. So our order entry would have been filled over in this area over here. And again, we're looking at the high of 59.25, so we're going to get it in at 61.25. And again, for our drawdown, we looked back to see what the last range indication was here, the PT range indication, which was 3. So we're going to add half a point to that. So that would be 3.5 points. So when we got in here, right in on this bar here, our drawdown would have been 57.25. And obviously we didn't hit that. We went up and made our point. So that is the 6th point that was successful for today. As we continue along, we look at this bar here because we're allowed to take this trade because the VWAP is yellow. And actually, to be very precise, we probably would not be allowed to take this trade because the last indication here on the VWAP was red. It needs to be yellow and green. At least. It could be yellow and blue, but it needs to be yellow and green. So, and there was white in here. That's what prevents us. If it had been strictly all yellow and a red, we could have taken it. But in any case, when we look at this, we would have not got in here because the high of this bar is 64.50, and we would have had to get up to 66.50, and it only got up to 65.75. So the trade management system would not have put us into this trade. So let's continue on and look for the next trade. The next trade is right here. We see that this is the bar that we're looking for. We're looking at the high. The high is 67.50, so we get in at 69.50. So let's see what happens here. So we're going to get in at 69.50. And that would have been on this bar here. Would have been, yeah, it would have been on this bar here, 69.50. And we have to get up to at least 70.50. And we're up to 71. So that would have been a successful trade. But let's say it was not a successful trade. What would have happened? Here's our last, on our drawdown, here's our last PT range indication that helps us establish the drawdown. We add half a point to that. And so that'd be 3.5 points. Let's see. Was this 3.5 points just for the heck of it? There's a high 70, 75, and the low is 66. So that would have been more. So had we not been successful on that, which is our 7th successful trade, then this drawdown would have taken us out on that one. But we were successful taking this trade with the trade management system, and the drawdown, of course, did not go into effect because the trade was successful. So now let's continue on and look for our next trade. Well, the next trades are over here, and it's very close to the end of the day, so we're not even going to look at that. If we did, we can see the trade management system would have not executed because of the 2 points above any rate. So I hope that helps in showing you how the system works with the trade management on how to enter the order when you're trading with the trend, and how to set your drawdown with each of those trades. And if you like what you see, head on over to processtrading.com, and you can see all about the complete system over there, the trend trading part of the system, the discretionary trading part of the system, which are just highly, highly effective. And it'll tell you, especially look at the sentiment oscillator here. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up or subscribe. So see you on the next video.